Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Truce Talks. Today, we have some really interesting talkers. These are my friends, Robin Boscia and Linda Weinzetl, who have for the past 5 years been what we call our demo queens. They do the demonstrations of our Truce products in grocery stores like Sprouts and Whole Foods, and oftentimes wherever they find themselves, they're doing it, bless their hearts. So Robin, Linda, welcome. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in 3 months.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, isn't this just crazy? So tell people a little bit about what it's like to do demos, because we see demo people all the time. Why do you love it? What's it all about, Alfie?
Lynn, do you want to talk or do you want me to talk?
My mind just went blank, so let Robin talk.
You're the one who is just, Linda is the one who will literally follow a customer right until they talk to her.
She's the demo stalker.
Yeah.
Yes, what we do, we actually will represent a product. We, in all the years we've been doing demos, which we figured out to be about 10 years we've been doing them. Linda's been doing them about 9. We represent products that we believe in. We will not take a product. All of our products have been pretty much referred to us word of mouth. We do not take any products that we don't believe in. We try the products, we talk to the person, we try the products first, and then we ask what the company actually wants us to do. Do you want us, in your case, what we started doing was just going into a store and passing out samples of Truce. We would tell people about Truce. We would tell them it's a local product. A lot of people were wondering how you got started, and we were able to tell them that. With the samples, we would walk around the store with a little basket. We would hand them out. At one point, what we did, we felt it was a really good move to give a box of samples to the store manager and have him pass that out to the employees, because if the employees know about any product, they will be an advocate. And we learned that that happens a lot. Like if the employees like it, they'll recommend it to a customer. And we would ask the company that we're dealing with, how long do you want us to demo for? With Truce, what we did when we first started, I think we sort of made it, let's play it by ear. See how many people, you'd take about 40 samples into the store and see if you could get 40 people interested in the product. You would show them where it is on the shelf. Sometimes you'd stand over by the shelf and show people, and then you'd talk about the products. And then at the end of that, we would, after the demo's done, and depending on if you could hand out your samples or get people interested, or if the store was busy or not, it would be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours normally. Some of the other demos where there's food products, it might be 3 hours because you're sampling food. And you really just basically have to tell people about the product, tell them why the product is good, why they should buy it. With Truce, we actually ended up in Costco right before the pandemic, and we had no samples to hand out, but we did pretty good in sales, and it was a 3-pack in Costco. A lot of people were interested. People love the fact that Truce is local.
Yeah, you guys always did. You guys always focused on that aspect of it, and people loved it. And I think, honestly, my theory, which is mine and which I own, is after this is over, people are going to be a lot more supportive of local products and products like ours that are clean. I think this has been a very unfortunate wake-up call for people on a lot of levels.
Yes.
Right.
You know, it's been really, really strange for us, because I know that Costco's not doing any demos of any kinds, and I see some demos when I'm in Sprouts or when I'm, when I've got my mask on and I'm going out because I have to. But there's not a lot of that going on right now because it's hard
no
to talk.
demos at all.
Yeah, because if you have your face covered, people really can't hear you very well.
Right.
So what are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Well, me, I get up in the morning, I eat my little breakfast, and I work out. And every day I go in my pool for an hour and a half and I exercise. I exercise in the house, weightlifting, or usually not cardio, because if I go in the pool, that's an hour and a half of cardio. But I exercised. Now this morning I exercised for 35 minutes because I didn't have a lot of time. And now this afternoon, after I get home, because I have to go out this afternoon, then I'll go in the pool probably for an hour and a half and do my cardio. But
That's the place to do it in the summer, boy, is in the pool.
yeah, it's great. I keep saying, I think I need a heated pool because I am so into this now. That's all I want to do. I don't do anything else. I've reorganized my computer room a little bit. At first, during the first part of the pandemic, I decided that I was going to go on Ancestry and dig back further than I had done previously, because I had it pretty far back on my side and my husband's side. But I decided I was even going to go back further. We had a cousin that lived in Germany that I used to write to many years ago, and I could never find her information. And she unfortunately has since passed, and there are no relatives in Germany at all. And I finally was like, I've got to find out. I knew where she was related, but I couldn't find any of the information on her. She had no children. And I finally found that. I found back to, I think, 1500 on both
Wow.
my sides. And
You're serious.
Linda's and mine, and then Lou's side.
So in case I didn't tell you guys, these are sisters.
Yes, we are sisters.
They're sisters.
Yes,
if you're wondering why one of them talks and the other doesn't, they're sisters. They've got this worked out over time.
And we live together. I forced Linda to move here back in 2011. She was back in Pittsburgh, which is where we originally started. But Lou and I have lived here for 30 years now. And I kept telling her she needs to come out here and live here. And finally in 2011, she did. And she lives here with us, which is really super nice. A lot of people think it's weird, but we love it. She lives on the
Why would it be weird?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess they don't get along with their sister. I do.
It's a funny thing about Americans, because Denis, my husband who's French, talks about the fact that there appears to be more sibling discord in American families. I mean, he and his sister are super tight. And they don't understand that. But that's a real theme here, is sisters with sibling rivalry. I've got a friend who's male, and his two big brothers just thumped on him his whole life, and they don't have any. It's like, that's a weird thing. That's a weird thing. I've always thought you guys are.
Yeah.
I always thought you guys are super normal and super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, for Father's Day, we had all the kids over on the Saturday before. The three that live here, and it was great. We were all out in the pool, so we did our social distancing, but all my kids have been working from home too, so we've all been pretty much self-isolated. And we had them over, and we did a pool party, and did self-isolation, or self-quarantine, whatever it's called, social distancing. And but my kids get along. Like, even when we go on vacation, we take the whole family. And
yeah, you do. You've taken them on cruises. What are your thoughts about what cruise ships turned into with the pandemic? Were you a little grateful you weren't on a cruise?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes. And we won't be for a little while yet. Maybe 22, hopefully, but we'll see. But back to demoing, we love doing it. I'm retired. Linda's retired. The nice thing about demoing is we make our own schedule. We ask the company when we first meet with them, how many demos do you want? Like, do you want one a week? Do you want 3 a week? Do you want unlimited? Do you want us to do as many as we can? And then after we're done, we write a report, we send the report to the company, and that's about it. Saying what we sold, how much, what people were like. The nice thing about it, I think, sorry.
And that's okay. Customer feedback.
She almost said something.
I won't let her.
I said that earlier. I said, that'll be good.
You guys send really, really interesting reports back. We circulate them throughout the team.
Great.
And, we keep a file, we can go back through. And the marvelous thing that they do is they take a picture of the shelf when they're there and they send it to us immediately. And that's
We do
really
that with
helpful.
all of our customers, all of the companies that we deal with. We take a picture before, we take a picture if it's a food demo, we take a picture of the table, the shelf. Afterwards, give a lot of customer comments. Sometimes the comments are the same as what they've been, but that's fine.
It is.
If somebody says, hey, I'm glad this is a local company, then that's what you want to hear.
Right.
Or I'm glad there's great cleaning products out there that don't have all those chemicals in it.
Yeah.
Great.
And so the most interesting thing for us as a company going into Costco, it was like a big deal. We were so excited. We had all those pallets going in and everything. And we started at one Costco before the pandemic started. And then you guys were there before it started. You were there through the whole thing. Sort of talk about what that was like, what you saw, how it felt.
Eerie. I think because we knew that we had those hours at Costco, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The stores weren't real close to our house, so we had to get up early in the morning and go. I don't think Linda and I really paid too much attention to the news. And when those people started coming in, we looked at each other and were like, what's going on? We had no clue what was going on. And we're taking pictures and we're texting when we could. Anybody like at home, like my husband or my kids, going, what is going on? I mean, people were crazy. They were coming in, they were fighting, they were running. They were in front of our table, like blocking the table. So sometimes at the first Costco would open, there would be lines from the front of the store all the way to the back because everybody was after toilet paper, right? Which we couldn't understand. Toilet paper and water.
Yeah.
And Costco employees, I think, were sort of taken aback too because they didn't even have an organization of how to get these people in and out. Like by week probably 3, maybe, I think they finally figured it out and said, okay, we're only going to let so many people in the store and we're going to limit toilet paper, water, whatever.
Yeah. And they directed people too. They, rather than everybody just a mob running in the store with their carts and running past our table, we're like a stampede, they kind of got more organized where they could direct the people one way and another way. But at times our setup with Truce, with all the pallets and everything, people were just surrounded us on the front and the back, just stopped with their carts going to get toilet paper. So it was very crazy.
Well, and I think what we finally figured out too, that, hey, wait, the line is in front of our table, blocking our table. We would try to speak to people, but they were in such a hurry to get in or out or get their toilet paper and water that they didn't even want to hear what we had to say. So at one point, Linda would turn around and walk, talk to the people behind us, talk to the people beside us. We finally, because we had the 3-pack, we made a couple 3-packs up and we put them on top of the pallets and found that, and as people were walking past, we would tell them about it and they would take they would grab that and grab and go sort of like,
Right.
which is what we had originally talked about anyhow, having grab and go. And it seemed to work much better once that pandemic came because people were in a hurry to do things. So they would just grab them and head out.
Take 'em.
A couple people tried to grab a box, an entire box, thinking that was the price. And we would have
God.
to try to get them like, no, 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 you can't go with that box. But it was sort of scary, I think. And afterwards, after we were all done, Linda and I were like, okay, we need to self-isolate because we were so close to so many people. And as luck has it, we were
Yeah,
good.
we're
So,
still good.
and no one wore masks back then. And
No.
people were super
People
close to everybody. So,
people didn't know back then. I mean,
right,
Costco hadn't even stopped the food demos yet. There were still
right.
food demos going on. They didn't stop the demos. I can't remember by the fourth store, which would be 4 weeks.
Yes.
Had they stopped the food demos by then?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fourth
And
week, I think the third week we were even still doing them. Oh, yeah, that was Gilbert. The third
yeah,
week, I think, was Gilbert. And they were still doing them in Gilbert because we had to sign that sheet saying, you know, that they checked our table and made sure that we followed all the rules and, you know, just like any other food demo. So, and that was the only store that made us do that, like sign things saying, yes, we were following the rules, which is something else you have to know too. When you're doing demos in any store, AJ's, Sprouts, Whole Foods, you have a whole list of this is what you've got to do. These, you have to,
Rules.
yeah, you have to have, if you're doing food demos, you have to have a food handler's license,
right,
which we do.
right.
But you have to follow their rules. And if you do not follow their rules, you can actually be kicked out of the store.
Yeah, because one of Costco's rules, because we were there doing a road show, we weren't demoing like, you know, handing out things to the public, but it's a road show, and they were like adamant about, you know, stay in your booth area, don't do this, don't do that. And it was like, oh, you don't eat there. I unfortunately one day had, I don't know, he brought me an ice cream cone or something, and they came by and said, no, you can't do that. So I went on break and went up front, sat down, and ate my ice cream cone. It's like they're real clear on that.
Yeah.
I kind of admired that, you know, and we're working with them again. You know, we're going to go in there with a 3-pack, and it's going to be on the shelf at some point.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal for us. We're pretty excited about it. But you guys, I mean, without you, it was absolutely amazing because those were long hours. Remember how long those hours were? You had to be there. It was tough. It was a tough grind, but it was also fun.
It went fast.
Mm-hmm.
It was busy.
Yeah.
And it would be like, oh, wow, our time is up already. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a couple times when it was like, oh, we could probably have stayed the whole day because it really wasn't as bad as I think we thought. And I think because Linda and I both are used to doing 3-hour demos where you're standing up, and when you're doing a 3-hour demo for a food product, I always get to the store at least half an hour, 45 minutes before. So wherever I drive from, then a half hour, 45 minutes, and then you have to set up all your things, and then you do your demo for 3 hours. And if we say we do a 3-hour demo, we actually are doing 4 hours at least, because you have all the prep work where a lot of other demo people don't necessarily do that. We do, and there again, because we get to know the companies we work with, we feel like they're our products. So
how did you get started doing demos? How did this all begin for you guys?
originally, my son was a broker at the time, and a company came to him and said, we want demos done. And he was like, ugh, he does not like to do things like that. And he called me. I was working at the time. I worked at AT&T, and I had my weekends free, and the kids were pretty much grown. And he said, could you do this? And I was like, sure, I think I might like it. And he said, it's only like 2 or something like that. So I did a few, and I said, yeah, I sort of like this. This is fun. It would give me some extra money. okay. And I did a few. I wasn't working like any way near what we were recently.
Mm-hmm.
And when Linda moved out here, my son had said, do you think Aunt Lenny, which is what the kids call her,
Aunt Lenny.
Aunt Lenny would like to do this because I think that would be really good for her. Like it would keep her busy. It would give her something to do. It would give her extra money. And I said, sure, let's try it. And that's exactly what happened. And how we found you, Jess, that worked at Whole Foods. She
Mm-hmm.
was a grocery manager, I think, at the time. She
Yep.
referred
Mm-hmm.
us to you.
Mhm.
And I think most of ours have been word of mouth through.
Yeah.
Jess gave us a lot of business because companies would come into Whole Foods and they would say, hey, I need a product demoed. Do you know anyone? Yes.
And she only recommended you to companies that she knew pretty well. Not just
good.
anyone could do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was absolutely critical. She's going to be coming on the podcast and talking about her experience. She's now a broker.
Yes.
And she is doing really, really well. She's really happy. And she's been available to us so frequently to help Stephen, for instance, with working with grocery stores, because they're a whole different universe.
Oh, yes.
It's not like a department store. It's not like anything else. Grocery stores are fascinating little universes. And she just said, oh, I know exactly who you need. And we have always referred to you guys as the demo queens, because you guys are so good at it. You're so good at it. Not just anybody. I'm not good at it. I'm an introvert. I was never good at just walking up to somebody and starting a conversation. You guys are miraculous. You're really, really good. So are you in touch with the companies you were working with? We don't know when this is going to end, but are you staying in touch? Are you going to go back into this when you're finished, do you think?
Yes. In fact, one of the companies that I work for, Linda and I both work for, but I've been working more for them than Linda had recently,
Mm-hmm.
sent something out 2 months ago, or a month ago, and said they wanted to try, instead of us doing demos, which we knew we couldn't, going in and doing a little bit of merchandising.
Oh,
So they asked if anybody was interested, and I said, sure, I'm interested. Well, I went on the call, listened to what I had to do, and it was just a test marketing thing. So
mm-hmm.
I knew that was fine. But what you had to do, you had to go into Whole Foods, but you had, they made an arrangement with Whole Foods that you had to go in there between 5:45 and 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
And I'm not a morning person. Definitely not a morning person. And you had to do merchandising, and it was only 1 hour. So you could
Does
go.
that mean stocking the shelves? Is that what that is?
What you would do, you would go in, you would take a picture of the shelf, you would make sure that their product was on the shelf, you would check the dates to make sure that they had no expired products. They have 3 different product lines in Whole Foods. So for that 1 hour, you were pretty darn busy because you had to check 13 different products, and you had to check all the dates on all of those products in 1 hour and be out of the store. Now, I tried to do mine usually 6:15 to 7:15, 7:30 and be out of there, because what they did, they opened the store at 7 for seniors.
Oh.
So seniors would come in, which was fine. I was covered. So, but last week they said that was the last week. They did a test, and they said it worked out tremendously. It was great. And I was sort of glad, because now I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be at a store by 6:15. So, and a couple of the other companies, we've just kept in touch with them. Hey, how are you guys doing? We're still here. We're so interested in demoing when and if this, when this lifts.
Right.
But yeah, I think I think we only have like 4 companies right now that we're really staying in touch with, you and 3 others.
So is everybody in your family safe? You've not had any COVID throughout your tribe?
Not at all. In fact,
Good for you.
Lou actually had to have surgery this past Monday on his hand, but he had to get a COVID test before the surgery.
Sure.
And everything was clean. So good.
So we're good.
And we're good. And all the kids they're all working from home. My one son that lives out in Philly works for AstraZeneca. He's a microbiologist, and he actually has to go to work.
Yeah.
But he works in a lab.
Yeah.
So it's a sterile environment. So
yeah, we've been really careful. The entire team is remote.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle goes into the warehouse and does the day's shipping and things like that.
Mhm.
And the guys go in, but even in our own space, everybody is masked. They have had 8 cases of COVID at the headquarters, which is not the warehouse. The warehouse is the warehouse, and we're fine. We don't go down to the company headquarters at all. We are just in the warehouse, and you gotta do it. And I see these kids, and it's like, they think they don't have to worry about themselves, which they do. They're the highest impact group, but they're taking it home to people. And I think, why don't you just put a mask on?
Well, that's what my kids all, like, if they go to the grocery store, which is pretty much where they go, they wear a mask. And my kids have been, now my one son is a caregiver for a disabled child. And so he, of course, and he is not just, he's the primary caregiver, but other gentlemen also are caregivers. So he said, they all have to be super safe.
Oh, yeah.
So he does not live in, but he takes care of himself. And he said, I don't want to bring that to him.
No.
So he said, I don't do anything. And he said he actually went to Costco last week. He has been at Safeway, and everybody in Safeway wears masks.
Safeway is really good. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. But he went to Costco last week, and he said, wow, he said, Costco seemed to be safer than any place else. And I said, yes, they are, because they are standing outside. They are sanitizing those carts. They are making sure that every person in there wears a mask. So I said, I actually don't feel bad about going to Costco at all.
No.
And it's big.
I'm kind of disappointed. And if they hear this, okay, Trader Joe's was doing a good job initially. And now they're not so. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to Trader Joe's for a while. There are a number of places I'm not going because I want those masks on. And either you mean it when you put your sign up or you don't, but I want that protection. I do. So Safeway's been okay.
Yeah, Safeway's been good. Fry's is not, but but we all wear masks, all of us. Like I bought a plethora of masks to begin with and said to the kids, do you need any? If you do, I'll send them to you. I'll give them to you. Yeah. I think I bought like 25 or 30, and they were the washable masks.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah. And then when I was going to Whole Foods, they give you, every time I would work at Whole Foods, they take your temperature when you're coming in as a vendor. And then they give you a mask and gloves. So I would use my cloth mask, but I would get a disposable mask from them. So I had a lot of those, whether I used them or not.
Yeah, Sprouts had gloves they were dispensing, and they had face masks at a couple of the stores I stopped at, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I am so grateful to have you guys in our world. You've made a huge impact on the business, and plus I just really like hanging out with you. It's really fun. We have a good time.
When we're out of this, we definitely need to get together, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I've missed our time together. We can talk and hang out. I have one final question for both of you. Separate answers, okay? Separate answers.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with anyone in the world, living or dead, who would you choose? Linda, who would you like to have dinner with?
Well, I probably would like to have dinner with Barack Obama Michelle Obama, and my sister.
That's good. That's good.
Would be an interesting conversation, and then she could do a lot of the talking if I didn't feel like talking.
That's so funny because you talk to customers when you're doing your demos like crazy.
I talk to customers all the time. I never am quiet, and I will follow people. If people are a little ways away, I'll go over to them and come up to them and ask. I have no problem doing that, but sometimes like this, I just am very quiet, which is odd.
That's okay. I love you any way I can get you. So, okay, Robin.
An introvert, believe it or not.
Yeah. So, Robin, who would you like to have dinner
The
with?
funny thing is, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama. There's a bunch of people I would love to have dinner with. And I thought about this because I heard this on your other podcast. I don't think I would ever pick anyone dead, because if I had dinner with them, I wouldn't want that dinner to end, because I would never not want to see them again. So I picked people, John Oliver and Jerry Seinfeld, because I love to laugh.
Right.
That you do. That you do.
Yeah.
So
that would be and of course my sister would be there too.
I better be there.
We'd have a big dinner party then.
Oh God.
But I would sit there and let them talk.
You guys are amazing and you are wonderful. I'm so glad we're friends and colleagues. And I look forward to, the company is growing like crazy, just so you know. Everything is really going right along. It's like amazing. So I'll share more of that with you personally, but it's really a good time. So we'll be going forward. We'll be calling on you, and you'll be back in the stores for Truce. And thank you for growing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you. Take care. Be safe.
Will do. Wash your hands, ladies. Wash your hands.
We will. Oh yeah, we do. Use Truce.
Absolutely.